In this video, we're going to have a look at how to work in Finch and how Finch ties into your existing workflow. What we're going to do is to generate the inside of Finch, and I'm also going to demonstrate how you get your massing and context up from Forma and Rhino in this case, and how we go out to a fully fledged BIM model in Revit through the Finch extensions. But first of all, this is Finch. It's a browser-based platform. This is one of my favorite projects, 56 in Leonard Street by Herzog and Maron, and this is how it looks in the browser. As you can see, it's very well structured. I have the different programs here for my building, and I can go one step deeper and have a look at the space types as an example. If we go into the building one step deeper, simply by double clicking, this is the level of detail you're working in within Finch. You have your floor plans, you even have your furniture, wall width, and so on. So this is a very quick overview of the platform. What we're going to do in this demo is that we're going to work in this project, a residential project with an undulating facade. I'm going to showcase how I got this project into Finch. We're going to generate the inside, and as I mentioned, going out to Revit after that. So let's start from the top here. I'm going to go into another tab here. Here I have my project in Autodesk Forma. This is where I imported my site and my context, and through the Finch extension, if we navigate to the extensions, I can select my project where I want to send this context, and simply by a click of a button I send it straight into Finch, and we end up like this. As you can see, I have a fairly complex shape here. This shape was actually created in Grasshopper, and I'm going to show you here. I have my Rhino file, I have my Grasshopper file that creates this complex geometry. I will not go through how I did that. I'm just going to show you quickly the Finch extension in Grasshopper. Here we have it. You install it through the package manager, and the only thing you need to do to send things from Grasshopper into Finch is to grab this Finch component, type what project and what variant you want to send it from, feed the mesh into the building mass upload, and send it. And this is how easy you get your geometry into Finch. But let's jump in to Finch and start to explore the generative features of the platform. I'm going to double click the top floor to get into the story mode here, and the first thing we're going to do is to generate circulation and a unit mix. So I simply select where I would like to generate unit mix and corridors. I'm going to start with that one. I fire up the algorithm, and it asks for a number of different inputs. I'm going to go with the recommended ones here. And what happens is that it's based on my input, tries to find the optimal position for the cores here along the corridor. And if I were to force the algorithm to just say, I just want one core, based on my input, it also gives me a warning saying this is probably not a good idea because this part of the corridor will be too far away from the core according to the exit route distance that I specified. So I'm going to go back to the 3-core solution here. I'm going to pause it and apply it to the story. And the reason to why I do that before I generate the unit in this case is because I would like to show you the editing capabilities in Finch. So anything that you generate in Finch can also be edited. So if I would like to move this wall, for example, I simply select it. I'm going to type the distance. There you go. I can also use familiar tools like align. I would like to align it to this wall and work my way through my design here, and always make sure I get the project exactly where I think it should go. Okay, so the next step here is to generate a unit mix. I'm going to toggle on my space type just to see, okay, I have a corridor here, and this is important for the algorithm to know where the corridor is to be able to make sure that all of the units are accessed from the corridor, of course, so you don't go from the stairwell into the to the unit. I'm going to once again click Generate, Unit Mix around existing corridor. This works very well if you have an existing structure that you would like to, for example, turn from offices into residential or similar. And you can see the optimization algorithm is working its way through the building here. I've specified a unit mix. In this case, it's 500, 750, 1000 and 1250 feet. And as you can see, even though we have this complex undulating facade, the precision is very high down to the square feet or foot, sorry. And then there's a number of ways to control the results here. Of course, we have the parameters. I can also specify minimum facade length for different units, but here I'm going to demonstrate one of my favorites, and that is working with grid lines. So if I turn the grid lines on, they've been streamed from my grasshopper file in this case, could come from Revit as well. And I'm going to turn the grid line slider up. What happens now is that the algorithms try to find the ultimate balance between snapping to the grid lines while still adhering to the unit mix that I provided. And this can be, of course, a challenging puzzle. So it's a great task for a computer to do. I'm going to pause it now and apply it. Of course, I could let it run longer for even better results. And just as I mentioned before, if I would like to change anything, it's up to me. I asked for 1,000 square meters. You can, square feet. This is what I got. But me as an architect would like to align it to this wall, and then I can do that. It is basically a BIM light editor in the browser. Okay, so this is the first part here of the demo where I demonstrated how to upload your mass. I've generated the circulation, made sure we follow the fire regulations, and we generated a unit mix here. The next step I'm going to show is how to generate floor plans. But before I do that, I'm going to show you our floor plan library. So simply head up here, click the icon. I'm going to click plans. I'm going to open a new tab here actually. Let's see. Here I have my floor plan tab. And as an enterprise customer in Finch, you have access to two different libraries. You have your organization library. My organization is called Acme Architects. This is a great way of gathering the internal knowledge within your organization. You and your colleagues build up this library, save plans from previous projects, and so on. And it is a great way, as mentioned, to reuse it in new projects and so on. And if I head into my own library, this is only my plans, not shared with anyone. Here I can work on my designs that I think is great. And if I head into a plan here, what is special about the plans in Finch is that all of the plans are adaptive. And that means that if I pull a wall here, you can see that the whole plan stretch. And that might not be how you would like your architecture to behave. So then you can also set constraints by clicking the lock up here to specify or to inform Finch on how you would like your design to behave. And in this case, I'm going to work with a bathroom module, so I don't want the size of this one to stretch. My corridors cannot be more narrow, but they are allowed to be wider. And if I now stretch the unit once again, you can see that the bathroom module stays fixed, and if I pull it together here, you can see that the corridors stay fixed and the small toilet here takes up the discrepancies. So this is a great way to communicate with intelligence and Finch on how you would like your design to behave. So let's head back into our project here. And to generate units, I simply click, or floor plans in a unit, I simply click a unit where I would like to generate, click generate floor plan. And what happens is that Finch analyzes where do we have the outside, where's the corridor, and so on. And then I get results presented from my own floor plans. This is my private library. I have my colleagues' floor plans here. And of course, everything has been adapted to fit this project. And down below here, we have the Finch AI generated results. And if I don't get any great results from my own library, this is always nice things to get you up and running, get some nice suggestions, get some ideation, what can I do with this space and so on. In this case, I can see that I have a lot of results from both my own and my colleagues' libraries. I'm going to click this one. I'm going to select this one from my own plan library and assign it to the unit. As you can see in this example, the colors changed when I assigned it, and that is because I have customized my project because I wanted to have this kind of look on it. And next step, I'm going to copy this plan, and I'm actually going to copy it to these 4 units that have the same width. I'm simply click Control-C, Control-V, and Finch automatically rotates it to fit because it understands that you need to be able to enter the apartment from the corridor. And as you can see, I copied my plan into a unit that is a little bit larger due to the undulating facade. So I'm going to go into this one. I'm actually going to pull my walls out a bit here. And as you can see, I see the outline of all of the other units where this plan is used. And then I'm going to click Union, and the plan is adapted to fit this plan as well, or unit as well. And even though the units are not identical, the plans within them are still linked. So if I were to go up here and say I would like to put my bed along this wall instead, there you go, then it updates in all of the units here. And the same thing when it goes out to Revit. If the units are linked in Finch, they are also linked in Revit. And then I work my way throughout the project. And if I would like to have more control when I generate, I can also set up some graph rules here. Here I can specify different, I can see someone has already done it in this project. Here I can specify different things. For example, if I add a graph rule that my bedroom needs to be more than 100 square feet, for example. And the next time I fire up the generation, you will see that I get some information about that. So let's do it over here. So now I said that all of my bedrooms should be more than 100 square meter. And if I open the compliance folder here, then all of the plans generated here is checked against this criteria. And of course, I can always filter only show fully compliant, but I'm usually I like to show everything because it might be that it's very close to compliant, and then me as an architect can always go in and make the decision whether or not I would like to keep this plan. But let's go for this one. I'm going to add it to the apartment. And then maybe the last one here, because now I've been generating these rectangular shapes, and of course that went great, but I can also generate in more complex shapes like this. Of course, I'm not getting as much results at the moment in these shapes, but you can see that Finch is already now providing some nice results here as well. And actually I have a plan that works here in my organization. So let's add that. And then I simply work my way throughout the building. And when I'm done in Finch, it's time to go into Revit. So I'm going to open Revit. Let's give it a second. The import here takes a couple of minutes in Revit. So I prepared a file from the same project where I've generated the full story here. And this is how the plugin looks in Revit. You simply select the project you're working on, the variant, you click import BIM, and then you get a bunch of options where you can specify what kind of walls, what kind of furniture, what kind of doors you would like to import to, and this opens up the possibility to map it to your own Revit families and so on. And the last thing I'm going to show you, before I do that, maybe worth mentioning that everything that comes into Revit is native Revit geometry. So there's no meshes coming in, contaminating your Revit file. It is Revit walls, Revit families, and so on. So you can continue working in this model to the later stages of the project. The last thing I would like to show you is a very appreciated feature. I'm just going to delete this plan again here in Revit. Delete the rooms as well. And then now we actually have the possibility in Finch to also generate floor plans straight into Revit. And this is great if you're not ready to go up to the browser-based platform, or if your project is in the later stages, you already designed a lot of things and you need to have some ideation on a particular unit. So simply click generate, click generate plan, specify where I would like to generate. It asks for where it's allowed to place the entrance. There you go. And I click finish. What happens now is that you run the Finch intelligence within Revit with the same possibilities to filter on regions, tags, programs, and more. And as you can see, my own plans are coming, my colleagues' plans are being generated here, and also Finch results coming down here. So I'm going to select one of my plans again. There you go. I click, give it a couple of seconds to import into Revit. I'm going to close the window. There you go. And here I have a plan straight into Revit. So a little repetition what we've done here in the video. We started out in Grasshopper and Forma, where we sent our context and our massing into Finch. We generate circulation, we generated unit mix, we filled it with floor plans from our floor plan library, and then we went out to Revit as a fully fledged BIM model. So that is Finch and the workflow. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.